We play and call it work.
Hey everybody, Matthew here from MiniWarGaming.com, and welcome to the first episode in a bit of a vlog series, or a how it's built series, behind the scene of a new project that Lee's been working on. I'm going to try to do, people have been requesting terrain tutorials, conversion tutorials from Lee, and we can't do that because he's too busy actually doing his work. Right, Lee?
Yeah.
And so, and since he's
stopping for this one.
Yeah, exactly. He's actually working while I'm making the intro for this video. But I thought maybe it'd be fun from time to time to come down into the fungeon and it's fun dungeon.
I know.
That's I thought it was obvious.
Wreck-It Ralph?
Yeah, it's Wreck-It Ralph. I just watched it recently, so it's in my mind. To show you what he's up to, especially because right now the project that he's working on is something that I'm very interested in and quite excited for, which is some Age of Sigmar terrain. I'm not sure if you've realized this. We've talked about it already. We're going to be doing more Age of Sigmar coverage coming soon, sometime in April probably, as I'm going to be getting into it and doing narrative campaigns for it. And so I've been reading a lot of novels and reading the battle tomes and getting into all of that. But blah-de-blah-de-blah, you're here to see the terrain. We'll talk more about Age of Sigmar otherwise. So let's take a look at what he is currently working on. So this is part of a project that I've commissioned Lee to do. Not really commissioned in the sense of paying him outside of work time to do it, but more commissioned as in like I wanted a certain set of terrain made. Adam from Greenleaf Terrain is working on a set for the Realm of Life, and I thought it would be nice that we have some Age of Sigmar terrain that would work maybe somewhat more generically, but also has the more traditional stuff from Age of Sigmar. And so we ordered a ton of the kits from Games Workshop, but the problem with the kits from the Games Workshop for Age of Sigmar is they're kind of small and not as built up as the 40k stuff. Like with 40k, you got like the Bastions, the Fortress of Redemption, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, they're not really that inspiring.
Yeah, they're kind of basic. Like they look really good, but you know it's just an arch or it's just a ruin or whatever. And so, but Lee took a look at them and decided on some projects that he wanted to do for it. So this is part of what you're working on. You were doing a bunch of terrain based off of the Age of Sigmar stuff. Yeah. And he's working right now because this stuff is going to cure soon, and so he has to work on it. So this is a bridge. Why don't you tell us a bit about it, Lee?
The bridge to nowhere?
The bridge to nowhere because it's broken.
Yeah, this is basically a stolen idea. I'm just going to say it.
That's fine.
It's from the Warhammer World AOS display. It's really, really nice. It's actually based on the bridge from that kit. And,
so yeah. What is it supposed to be? Is there, what was your inspiration behind like what this function was?
The story I made up in my brain?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
Well, what I'm going to do, and I'll show you as soon as I get done with this, is I'm going to build a Realmgate. A really big one. It's going to be like over here. And the story in my brain is the Realmgate opened, and they built the bridge as an afterthought.
Right.
To get to it.
To get to the realm, because it's a little higher than the other ones.
And then it started eating away at the end of it. So.
Yeah, little bits can yank through the Realmgate, perhaps. Okay, so...
And became part of it, so...
Yeah. And so this bridge actually detaches. I won't do that right now just because... Oh, there we go.
There you go.
That'll be making it for easy storage. And that also allows us to see a little bit into how you built this hill section, which we will turn off the camera in a moment to let you finish what you're doing, and then we can pick it up and kind of take a closer look at all the parts to it. But one thing we can talk about are the Games Workshop kits that were used to build this. So what are these parts from?
These are Realmgates.
These are just Realmgates.
Yeah.
Obviously cut apart and reassembled.
Yeah, because they come in two halves. So you have this half, and then the other half. So I basically doubled up on arches.
Right.
Which is really good. But these are actually from the other side, so I had to cut them off and repurpose them.
And then to strengthen the inside of this, okay, we actually have some exposed. So you can see that you used a big wood dowel that fit perfectly inside of there.
Yep.
That works too. So you have the one piece, you've got the doweling, and then on the end ones you have the other piece.
Yeah, because you can see it.
You can see those a lot better. You're finding though that it was a little weak, that these things were wobbling around, and so you added in this
the crossbeam.
The crossbeam.
The triangles.
Yeah,
and
then then after the crossbeam was added, it still didn't quite feel strong enough, so you added in the triangles, which of course is a very strong construction tool.
No, it's just...
Yeah, now, yeah, because we were worried, because you were worried at one point that you'd have to actually put a base on the bottom of the whole thing, and neither of us wanted that because it would make it very specific to one board, which the hill probably will anyways, but having a huge base underneath there just wouldn't look as nice as not having a big base under there. So this allowed it to be a lot stronger. Yeah, because these things were very wobbly. They would snap off really easily.
Yeah, I dropped one on the floor and it shattered.
Just shattered, yeah. But now with the dowel in the middle, the styrofoam going across, and the triangle, they're nice and strong. And then on top, obviously, it's just the styrofoam again. That you can see that you've carved this fun dragon. So why a dragon and a hammer?
Well, isn't that the story? With Sigmar floating in space with a big dragon?
Sure is. So just...
I haven't really read up on the fluff of Age of Sigmar, just what I've heard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, they're...
Apparently there's a big dragon in space, so big dragon in space.
There you go. So just more of the iconography of what is going on right here.
Yeah.
So that's the actual bridge component, and then obviously you can see, because it's not yet painted, all the components that were used. We got like the balsa wood and other pieces of wood underneath there, and everything else is just carved from the styrofoam.
Yeah, it's just etched in with a pen.
Yeah, obviously Lee's got some pretty good freehanding skills. Which what did you use to guide this?
Nothing.
Nothing, of course. So then, how did you know where the flames were going to go before the rest?
What I did is I drew it on a piece of paper at home.
Oh, okay. And so that was where you could erase what would happen.
So that's what it looked
Yeah, so you can see that you drew that first and then drew
over it. I
just
pinned that on top, did an etching, and then went over it again.
Oh, nice.
And added the planet.
So you had kind of a stencil for it.
Yeah.
One that you built, but still a stencil. Nice, very good. And
the plan is, what I want to do is I want to continue the tail down the stairs.
Oh, cool. That'll look really neat. Now you have something for these too.
Yeah, I do.
Where are
it's
they?
It's going to upset people.
Why? Because
it's really expensive.
So
there you go.
We got some of our Stormcast Eternals right on top of their Drakes. So those models will be... How are you going to paint those?
Those are going to be bronze.
Just bronze, basically? Yeah.
And then we have the other two in the alcoves over here. Those are going to be stone.
Well, I'll come around. And those will be painted up as stone. Obviously, more realm gates being used. So basically, the only kit that you've used on this board is the realm gates.
Yeah, pretty much.
Over and over and over again. And then some models, which are always useful for that.
And just piles of foam and plaster.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the hill. Do you need to flip it over to show how it was built?
I can. I put a bottom on it.
Oh, you put a bottom on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're too late for that. I was supposed to film even earlier in the process, but then I was sick, and it snowed.
Yeah.
So it kind of disrupted.
And I just kept coming into work.
No, it's fine. You just keep working on it.
But you can tell I basically piled up foam.
Just foam layers.
Just foam blocks.
And then what is this?
This is spray foam.
That you just cut off afterwards?
Yeah, just to fill it in.
And then what's all this?
It's plaster. It's going to be really heavy and really sturdy.
Yeah. And then what else? What else are you going to be doing to this? Like
this is just the first layer I'm putting on. The second one is going to have like rocks sticking out, so you can actually place models on it. Because I don't want this to be dead space on the table.
True.
So you're going to be able to place models on top. There's going to be a balcony here, and probably another one around here. So it's going to be more
stepped.
Yeah, a bit more rocky. And then I'm going to add some trees.
Nice.
Because I swipe these because they never get used.
The Games Workshop trees?
Yeah. And this one's going to go over here. And then probably one over here somewhere, and another one over here.
Nice.
Just to have some...
Just to give it a little extra oomph. And then, so you're going to have the tail carving down the stairs.
Probably, yeah.
And then the rest is just painting, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
How do you...
With the etching, it's like the dragon. I'm just going to do a light dry brush over it, and then it will show up.
Right. And color scheme for painting? It's just going to be your typical rocky, grassy...
I'm going to try to mimic what Adam's done on his boards. Like a browny gray with flock on it.
Right. That way it can match other stuff that we already have. So this is the bridge. This is the centerpiece of the project that you're working on.
Yeah.
So let's talk a bit about the plans for other stuff.
I have some other stuff.
Because we've got like a big box over here full of all sorts of Games Workshop, Age of Sigmar / fantasy terrain. And so why don't you talk a bit about things that you're going to be working on that we'll show in future videos.
I'm not sure. I'm kind of making it up as I go along. I did make this because I got bored. That's just realm gates, and that's the observatory
From the Warsquire Citadel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought a few of those. Some to actually be built as the Citadel, and some for spare bits because they're awesome. Oh yeah, and you got that one too.
And then kit bashed this one.
So this is what I was talking about, where it's like individually the kits aren't that interesting, but if you start to put them together, you can come up with some really cool buildings. And so what is this built out of?
That's the Oculus, I think it's called.
Yeah, so you got some boxes.
The Oculum.
The Oculum, the Numinous Oculum.
Yeah.
Why don't you
That's
pick up
the top part, and the bottom part is the Dragon Gate thingy. I don't know what they're called. I'm gonna pull this. By the way, he just showed up.
I know. I just opened the door
this right now. But, oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's why you were mixing the stuff.
Yeah. Like,
And just you're like, I got to work while you're doing it.
The Ophidian Archway.
There we are. So the Ophidian Archway
This one.
is the base of it.
This is the outside of that.
Right.
So I just cut it in half and placed the Oculum on top.
So just kind of kipash them together.
Yep.
Hey, what are your plans for completing this?
Well, we've been debating if it should have a base. I'm gonna build one. I'm not gonna glue it on and show you, because what I want to do is I want to extend it and actually have maybe like part of a roof and other stuff, so it looks like it used to be more of a building than just a wall in space.
Right. Yeah, the debate for the base is one of the modularity versus the scenic, right? That if you have a base, it makes it harder to be modular because then it won't match as many of our gaming mats that we have. But by having a base, it allows you to add a lot more detail. Yeah. It also allows you to strengthen the model a lot too. So if there's two ends of the spectrum, if this side is fully modular and this side is fully scenic, like this side is what you see at Warhammer World, and this side is like just putting together terrain and sticking it on your table, but they all have like these huge bases that make them it's very obvious where the terrain is compared to the board itself. We're looking for something in the middle where we want it to be modular, but we want it to look awesome. Yeah. We realize you have to sacrifice some awesomeness in order to get the modularity, and we have to sacrifice some modularity to get awesomeness. And so finding that middle ground is not always easy. Like this thing, for example, is probably going to be limited to how many times we can use it because of how big it is. Yeah. And in the end, you're going to have to paint it something. Like you can't just paint it so generic that it'll fit on desert, forest, lava or whatever. Like it's like if you don't put grass on it, then it won't fit because it's so big on a forest board. But if you put anything green on it, it won't be able to fit really on a desert board. Yeah. And so you have to kind of make that decision and sacrifice a bit in order to use it. Yeah. Especially in a business like ours that can't spend as much money as Games Workshop does on terrain making.
No, because I was going over like reference pictures of the big display board.
Oh, jeez.
And some stuff is just like they used like maybe a bit about that big, but 30 of them.
Yes.
And you get 2 per $200 kit.
Well, and they're also it's their product, and so they're allowed to do things like casting, recasting, and all that. Like, sure, maybe personally you can get away with that, but we don't want to do anything illegally or unethically, and so that forces us to have to spend a bit more money. But at the same time, Games Workshop, just to give you an idea, their Warhammer World exhibit building team is almost the size of MiniWarGaming's entire business. Yeah. And I calculated the expenses that they would have, and it is nearly the same level of expenses we have to run our entire business. Yeah, that's just to make their displays, just for the exhibit area. Yeah. It's not even like they're also the terrain making team for everything else. No, this is just the guys that make the exhibits. So this can get very expensive in order to be able to pull this off. Yeah. And this is just one Lee. And Adam making stuff too, so that helps. That supplements a lot too. Okay, so we got this. What other kits do we have in here? Why don't you yank out some and just talk about some ideas that you might have just by looking at them. Let's get a look inside of the brain of Lee.
The box.
The Lee brain.
The Lee brain. That's a scary place.
It's a scary place.
I don't like being there. Well, so what I do basically, like when I made the Death Watch and all the Necron stuff. I just get a bunch of stuff, and usually halfway through I get another idea and I branch off. So I usually do things on the fly.
Which is fine.
But like all these, this is just generic terrain. This is actually Hobbit terrain.
That's the Hobbit stuff, the Lake Town. This is from the Mausoleum.
Yeah.
Or the Sigmarite Mausoleum, as they call it now. That was the Garden of Moor. Before we bought a few of those kits so we could have like a table full of undead stuff.
Which is awesome.
Which will be really fun. And then this is the what's it called?
Is it Arcane Ruins?
Arcane Ruins. And now you've assembled, why don't you talk about these for a second? You've assembled some of them together.
Yeah, I put together, here's the...
That's the Warscryer Citadel.
Yeah. It's a beautiful kit. I really like it.
And now available on the Games Workshop site.
Yeah. Do you want to tell people what
Yeah, sure. I wanted one of these forever. And I finally said, screw it, I'm going on eBay. And I found one and I spent... Well, it didn't feel like a lot at first, but until you kept adding on stuff like tariffs and duty and all that. But like I bought it for $200, but then by the time like shipping cost and duty cost and everything else, it was about $300. And the day before it actually arrived, I noticed it on the Games Workshop website for 130 Canadian dollars, which in American is like $100.
Yeah, that's why I told you, like, could you just go on eBay and order a bunch of squats?
Yeah, so the squats will come back. Yeah, so essentially I bought one for the price of 3. And so when it came out, I ordered 4 more just to make myself feel better, because then it averages out the price. So I can say, well, the 5 of them only cost like 100 and I don't know what it is, like 160 each rather than 130, but still, that was frustrating.
There was much laughing in the office.
Yeah. But, you know, if I could make things come back just by buying it a little more expensive on eBay, I'd probably buy a lot more things on eBay. So
probably. I'm
happy to have access to this because I love this kit forever.
Yeah, it's really nice.
And we didn't get one before they took it off, and then they came back for the Malign Portents. So it's a very gorgeous kit. Obviously not finished painting yet, which means you're not going to see all the details right here, but you can see on the Games Workshop site. A little lore, and now, obviously it's been retconned, this rock is actually pieces of the old world. So from Malice, hucked down from the realm of heaven by Sigmar, and then he sent his Lord Celestins after them. And but sometimes they'd get there, and somebody had already shown up and built something like this around it, because they can help you see into the future. So he's just like, hucks them all down, and is like, now go find them. And they're like, sir, why don't you just tell us where you're going to throw them?
He's playing fetch with his
Sigmarites. It's like, why don't you tell us to go down first, and then throw them where we are? And he's like, shut up, mortals.
Do my bidding.
Do my bidding. So yeah, so you assembled one of them. I don't think we need more than one assembled.
That was what we were going to do. Just have one whole
kit. Like I can't imagine needing 2 on the same table. I don't think it would look right to have 2 of them. But then now you have all sorts of really good bits.
Yeah. It's like, this is what I used for the dome on that one.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have all these pieces. Some of the pieces are like bigger chunks, and so they're not quite as useful.
Yeah, because when you look at it, it's like, oh, it's a bunch of houses on a rock. This is mostly 2 pieces. Yes,
it's just like 2 giant pieces with other pieces added onto it. But still, really cool kit.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And so the Arcane Ruins, he ended up doing was actually assembling just some of these together and leaving the tops off of them.
Some of these I did.
And that way we can kind of set them up on the table. They don't all have to be exactly the same.
Yeah, I have to paint the bottoms of them so you can have.
Yeah, so we can actually lie them down like there's actual.
Yeah, I only made one of these.
Yeah, that's kind of what the kit makes. Yeah. Obviously, it's very modular. You can make it.
You can add like whole ones or broken ones. Or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's pretty cool.
So this will give us some scatter terrain, which is very important to making a board look complete. It's not just the big pieces that matter.
I might even use some of these for the bigger pieces.
Yeah.
Just scavenge them.
Yeah, they're kind of like when you look at this, it's nothing impressive. It's just a good basic. It's just a basic piece. Exactly. Yeah, like scatter terrain usually does not look impressive individually, but once you fill up a board with it, it can look really neat. And then down here, so we've got more Warscryer Citadels, and more mausoleums. So that's the Sigmarite Mausoleum, or as it used to be, the Garden of Moor.
Yeah, but they did double up on the kit though.
So it's like 2 Garden of Moors?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's a lot of ones that I bought then. That's all right. We'll use them. We'll use them. What else is in here? Is it just those?
Just that.
So you've already pulled out a lot of the other kits.
Yeah.
Because we had a bunch of Ophidian Archways. We had a bunch of the Realm Gates. There was one other, I thought. Oh, the Numinous Oculum as well.
Those are only 3 Age of Sigmar terrain pieces we have.
Now, they on pre-order right now is some more stuff from Games Workshop, some new Azurite Ruins.
Yeah.
And we did order a bunch of those, so you're going to be able to use those to kit bash as well. Mm-hmm. So by the end of this, basically, we want a good terrain collection for Age of Sigmar. It's the one thing I think that we are mainly lacking to cover Age of Sigmar really well. We're working on models. We got lots of models already. We're working on rebasing models too, and so the terrain will just kind of
Yeah,
complete
after I
that.
showed you, it was totally worth it.
Yeah, we're like, I don't know if we should rebase them or just buy new ones. And then you did 30 skeletons in like
40 minutes.
40 minutes, and I'm like, okay, rebase.
Yeah.
Rebase it is. And so it was always a toss-up because we were still covering Warhammer Fantasy, which we are still going to do, but we're going to be ending it after Old World Wars finishes the End Times campaign. We'll probably come back to it. That's the plan. But in the meantime, we need all those models rebased for Age of Sigmar, which I'm very excited about.
So better.
Yeah, it looks way better on circle bases when you're actually playing Age of Sigmar. Obviously, if you're trying to go back to Fantasy, then you want to keep them on square bases. But yeah. Okay, awesome.
So, yeah.
I think that's all we got for now. We'll come back once you've got it partly painted, or maybe by the time you're finished painting it, that's when I'll actually have a chance to make a video with you. See some of the other stuff that you put together as well. Even if they're less exciting, they'll
Yeah,
still
this
be...
is the big one. I wanted to get this done.
Yeah, no, it'll look really cool.
When I
it's
don't
done.
feel inspired for this one, I build stuff like this.
Yeah, well, those kits are like, they go together in
Yeah.
an hour or two, right? And that just feels good to finish something. You're just like, after working on the larger product like that. Okay, well, thanks so much for tuning in for this terrain vlog. Thank you, Lee, for all your hard work. Let you get back to your puttying,
My plastering?
your plastering, and your terrain building.
It is.
So thanks for watching. Happy wargaming.